Okay, Mark, so we're going to go over your golf swing right here. I'm going to say that a lot of good stuff in here, no doubt. Personally, I know this looks like a pretty short iron that you're hitting. I'd like to see your stance width get a little bit wider, without a doubt. And I'd like to see your ball position move up in front of this little line I put right underneath your sternum. So just a hair, just a hair. It looks to me that you're playing the ball a little bit more back so that you can't pull it, but that's just what I'm noticing. So if this looks like around between a 7 and an 8 iron, I'd like to see that. I also like to see your stance get wider, toe flare's fine, but your knees look like they're just inside your hips, and this is one of the things that I kind of see when you go into your backswing. Your upper axis is fine, wrist angles are good, right arm is over bending a little bit, and I'll discuss that in a minute. So you kind of see the difference in the leg work because of the width of the stance, and if you want to get this knee to not come in so fast, you would keep your left toe a little more flared. But it also is a function of what your hips are doing. So your hips are actually, if you look at this, kind of getting into this movement with your spine, and it's a little bit, if you look at the difference in the two positions, a lot of that's just stemming from the extension and the bending piece of the right arm kind of overbends and your left arm gets a little high. Okay, so as far as the downward piece, you try to make the transition, and because of the narrow stance, the knee can't move forward enough, and that's what's kind of leading into your left leg straightening and hips extending a little too soon, but your angles at impact are they're fine. Just can't see, you're all the way in Australia, so I can't really see you hit balls, but the extension piece is good because this is stretching out, so this is getting further away from your belt, and that's nice. So definitely looks like Aaron has had some influence on you, which is nice, but I'd like to see definitely the legs get a little bit further apart, okay, or the feet, excuse me. Okay, now we're going to just flip this over to down the line. This is the one that kind of gets me a little bit. And let's just bring it, your buddy, Aaron here just for a second. Okay, flip him around. Alright, so you can kind of see your posture's fine, but I'd like to see your arms just hang a little bit further away from you. I think that would be a little easier for your hand path to go in. So you kind of see the difference here with the two hand paths. Your hands kind of go up and out, and the face is slightly closed. The difference between you and Aaron is the hips start to turn a little bit more. The right leg starts to straighten a little faster, just a hair faster here with Aaron than with yours, and that will help the hand path go back in on this line a little bit faster. Okay. So as you go back, now the one thing I will say, your camera might be a touch low, but just like to see the arms go a few more degrees in, because the shaft line is fine. I just like to see the hands more in to get the shaft pointing at the ball. Okay. So if I can get these hands back in here, that would be more of an ideal. Because now you're just going to bend your right elbow, which you kind of do there, and you get this differential between the shoulder tilt and the arms. Okay, so you can kind of see that. Alright, so a little bit faster if we just kind of recap here on the backswing. A little further away from the ball, like about 4 inches. I'd like to see the right leg straighten a hair faster to allow the hands to go in, and not too in, just in a little bit. And you're going to have to measure that and maybe reshoot it for me. And that'll help keep the right arm from over flexing and give you a little more depth, get the hands more back in here. Okay, so we don't want our right elbow to over flex that much. Okay, wrist angles look fine, but we're going to take a look at something real quick. Okay, shaft's appropriate, and then the left arm is now out. So remember when I said that the left knee didn't go forward enough? This is affecting where the left arm is coming in on the downswing. So you can kind of see the difference with Aaron here, that his left arm's a little more in and back. But you guys have very similar upper axis positions. Yours is just coming up just a little bit. Okay? So the legs are straightening and the upper axis is starting to just tilt a few degrees back, and the left arm's coming out. Alright, so that's just a matter of sequencing and dynamics. So if you can make sure that from the top, as you're starting to work into your transfers of going forward, the left knee is going to move outside the left foot. That's going to allow the arms to lower the shaft down and back on the arc without changing your upper axis. So what you're doing here is your legs and hips are straightening and turning, and your upper axis is tilting back so that the shaft doesn't come steeply into the ball. So hopefully we get that. Okay. I think my camera stalled there. Okay, there we go. So come back down, and now we can see that the hands are above the yellow line, and the left arm's getting further away from you. So ideally we want to see this left arm straight down underneath the left shoulder if we're going to hit a pretty straight ball. Okay, the one you're hitting here would be acceptable if you're aiming a little more to the right, because that baseline is now shifted across. You can kind of see how that handle comes in a little bit high, and your legs are coming up a little bit straight. Okay? But overall, it's a pretty good swing, and you can see a little bit of roll there. That's just because of the little bit of tilting back as you hit it. Like I said before, the extension piece in the hips is pretty good. My opinion here for the follow through is this left arm is going to straighten out the right arm a little bit more. Okay, so this is a little too bent, but hopefully this makes sense. Like I said, the first priority is getting the stance a little bit wider, toes a little bit more flared on the left. You make your backswing. You're going to allow your right leg to straighten a little bit more, get your hand path to go slightly a little bit more in, and that'll allow you, when you go into your backswing, to keep your right arm a little straighter. And then on the downswing, move the dynamics of your transfer at a little bit slower rate, so you allow the shaft strap to lower back down on the plane. And I think you'd be in good order. If the club face doesn't change, you're probably going to get overdraws. So you want to monitor at release point, which is at the same picture that Aaron's at right here, that the face is not shut, and monitor the ball flight through that. I think that would be good. And then also make sure that when you're doing this, that you're monitoring what the ball's doing, because the ball's going to tell you what's going on, more so than just looking at the camera. Okay, I think that's really important. You can just basically look at the ball and it'll tell you what you're doing if you know your tendencies. Okay, so if you have any questions, just shoot me another email, and keep up the good work. Okay, I'll talk to you.